This is a review of the Bolkin Hybrid Armor Shockproof case cover for an Apple iPad Air. This version happens to be red in color, but it's available in many color combinations. The case is actually made in three pieces. There's a front cover with a built-in screen protector. There's a protective film on the inside that you have to remove when you install it. The back cover, which has a stand, and the outer silicone case that adds shock resistance. In combination with all those features, it makes the iPad dust and dirt resistant and also more shockproof. I want to show you the three pieces of the case. This is the top cover, and you can see the screen protector inside of it. The back of this has a protective film on it, which I'm going to take off in a few minutes, but I'm not going to do that until I'm ready to install it. This is the inner case, which is a hard shell polycarbonate case. There's some thin pieces of kind of a felt-like material here to cushion the iPad so it doesn't rub so much against the back. And then on the outside is a very flexible silicone piece that's molded, highly flexible, very soft, provides a lot of bounce protection. You're going to install your iPad in here. You see here on the bottom this circle. This goes around the power input port, and these are the speaker and microphone ports. So what you want to do is take your iPad and set it in there and just drop it into place. Before I did that, I cleaned it very thoroughly to get the dust and the fibers and the grease off the screen, because once you install the top cover, it has a protective screen. You don't want to trap anything between the two surfaces. You can see the protective film I was talking about on the inside. Make sure you peel that off. And when you do that, you should have a nice clean surface to install on top of the tablet. So you just set that, it's really ready to go. But before you do that, I'm going to face that down, have it ready, and now you want to install the silicone on the case. This is a little more problematic in that you have to tuck it in and tuck the sides around the outside of the case. You can see the silicone's on. I'm just going to wipe it very carefully just to make sure that I didn't get any fingerprints and dust, because putting this silicone on, you're going to have to sort of struggle with it, because you want to make sure it's tight here around all these little fittings and laying down perfectly fine, and it is. It just takes a little time to get it on there. And now you're going to pick up this screen cover, and it goes on here, and it presses around the outside of the silicone, and the silicone expansion or rubberized surface holds it into place. Even though the screen of my tablet was completely clean and dry, I know it was because I dried it with a microfiber cloth, and the inside of this screen protector was dry, you can see what looks to be sort of like water spots there on the screen. And as you look at those, they're pretty obvious there, and even when I turn the tablet on, you can see them. So I'm going to have to take it apart and see what that is causing that, and I'll show you that a little bit later in the video. On the back side here, I also want to point out I very carefully popped in all the silicone around the inner case, but you can see here that there's still some areas that need to be popped in. So you go through every one of these and tightly press those into place and make sure they're nice and flush and flat. Now you can see the difference. You can see them sticking up. Push those down like this, and just work your way around the case and make sure everything's in there tightly. See, I've cleaned the surface of the tablet and the inside of the screen again. I've wiped them both with alcohol with a swab, and I've cleaned it with a microfiber cloth, and now I'm going to install it again. I've got the cover back in place. I'm going to press it down all the way around. You can hear it snapping in and snapping onto the inner hard plastic frame. So now it's installed. Now you can see it's installed in the case again, and those like what look like watermarks on the screen are not appearing. Point out that this case here has this pop-up foot. You pop it up like this, and there's a small tilt bar, which if I tilt it like this, you can see it here. That kind of stabilizes it so it stands up. This tilt mechanism is designed to allow you to stand your tablet up and to use it like a tilting stand to watch a video with, for example. It's a nice addition to it, and I've seen some cases that don't have this, so it's a nice feature to have with this case. The tilt stand quite a bit, and I find that very useful. My only disappointment is that for whatever reason, because of design, it cannot be stood up in this mode because it's just not designed with the proper type of footing on this little foot back here. I like that the bottom of this foot is silicone coated. It makes it more skid resistant so it won't be sliding around on a slick surface. Well, you can see the rear facing microphone, the rear facing camera. Here's the lock rotation switch and the volume controls. Up here you have the earphone jack, the front facing microphone, and the power off on switch. And then on the front bottom you'll see the home button covered with this silicone button. As you press it, you'll go back to the home page. Everything's functional. The volume controls are accessible, and you can easily adjust your volumes and things like that. And the silicone case makes it work nicely. This screen protector is quite clear, easy to see through. There's no frosting on it, no pixelation on the screen, and it's easy to work through and easy to scroll through. It's almost like it's not even on the device. I want to point out that I cleaned this screen on the inside to perfection. I cleaned the tablet again, and I put it together and it was perfect. I've used it for a couple of hours, and you can see this what I call watermarking coming back on the screen in several places. I don't like that. Because of that, it affects the rating of this case. The manufacturer shouldn't take it personally. I have the same problem with many cases, including the OtterBox Defender case. I deducted 1 star on the OtterBox because I didn't like the screen, and I'm going to have to do the same thing here. This is an excellent case. Very strong, very nicely made. I like the silicone. It's a little slicker to hold on to than other designs because it's not got a texture on it, but I like the way it feels, and it's got a good solid structure on the iPad. But for me, I would take a razor blade knife and cut that screen out and not even worry about it, because I frankly think that this type of problem on the screen is not what I'm looking for. I also noticed that the screen has a lot of very miniature scratches in it, which you can't see on the camera, but they're there, and I think the material's too soft and somehow it's sticking to the screen of the iPad too hard. I rate this product at 4 stars. This review is done by jjceo. I'd like you to know I got a sample for test and evaluation, and I promise to give a fair and honest review.